Hey everybody, Dean Young, All Solutions LLC here. It has been a while. Things have been kind of slow and I've been doing some little odds and end jobs that aren't really worth doing videos on. I can't remember if I've done a video on replacing a wax seal or not. So I have nothing better to do, so I'm going to do it. I've done some work in this house before. They're actually closing on this house this week. Done some repairs a few months ago, and just recently they discovered, I guess while getting some things out of the crawl space, that there was some water coming from this toilet or some wet, whatever. So determined that the wax seal is bad in this toilet and needs to be replaced. So I'm going to go over the basic steps of replacing a wax seal and some things you might run into to help you move right along. So first thing you want to do is shut the water off. There's different types of valves. You do have, most have the shut off stop right here. It's called a stop valve. You just righty tighty. And there's some other older brands that have, like, you pull or push to turn the water on and off. Half turns or some crank turns. There's different types. So that's turning the water off. Then what I usually do is I've already done this one, but just try to just flush like you're flushing. Let all the water drain down into there. There. What I usually do is use a plastic bag or something. What I'm going to do is move my toilet over to here into the shower area, or I could easily just lay something like right here and just move the toilet over just a little bit. So the next step is going to be, this should only be hand tight, which it is. It's a good thing. What you're going to do is the supply line goes to the inlet valve. That is the inlet valve for the toilet. That's where the water comes in through. This particular brand is Fluid Master. It has a little floaty thing right there that stops. You can adjust it right here, your water levels. They make them now that have a chemical that will clean the back of your toilet, so this hose goes through it and then it comes back into there. It's pretty neat. But if you have pets, I do not recommend it because it can poison them quickly. So think about that before you do that. Got your flapper down here, got your flush lever right here, and that's pretty much it. This toilet and tank has 3 toilet tank bolts, one here, one here, one here. Usually you see 2, one here and here. What that does is secure the toilet to the bowl, and there's a little flange piece in between here, little rubber piece, or sometimes it's foam, which keeps the piece stable and from rubbing onto the other porcelain. When you tighten it up, you want to do a little bit this side, a little bit this side, a little bit this side, a little bit this side. You don't want to over tighten. You can crack this porcelain quicker than anything. So that is that. The next thing we're going to do is let them have these caps, which this was not installed correctly. There should be a white piece right up under here, the bolts that help this snap on. Either somebody got lazy, more likely somebody got lazy and didn't put them on there, or I don't know. And then you go to this side, which there's not even a cap. Okay? So what I'm going to do is take this bolt off, and the toilet will be loose. So I'm going to pause this video, do that real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got those bolts off, or the nuts off. I want to show you, this is the bolt that should be with it. This bolt is kind of like a lock-in bolt. It doesn't usually back out. This is some aftermarket deal somebody just put on there, probably because they lost this bolt right here. So just remember that. And I'm going to replace the bolts and everything on here anyway. So you've got that one off, and we've got that one off. Next thing we're going to do is pick this toilet up, and we're going to set it either on the side of the floor or in the shower, whichever you would prefer, however your bathroom's laid out. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I will be right back. All right, I'm back. That didn't take long. I just set it right over here on top of some plastic. You only got that little space right there to lay it on. You don't need like a big cover or nothing. Just as long as you got plastic or something enough for that one little area so the wax doesn't get all over your floor. And when you pick a toilet up, you want to keep it as level as possible. Sometimes if I've got enough room against the wall, depending on how big the tank is. Now this one has one of the old school big tanks. People love these toilets. And if you've got one, I would not get rid of it, because now everything is regulated to 1.6 gallons a flush. So if you want a good flush, keep this. You can always get it refinished. They make kits for the homeowner to use to do refinishing epoxy for a shower and for, porcelain and so forth. But anyway, now if that toilet wasn't that easy to get up, a lot of people just cut the bolts off. What I usually do, if the bolt's good and it's turning the whole bolt and nut and everything, I take a screwdriver, and what I do is I wedge it up against one of the screw right here, in between one of the lines there, and I get some force to it, push it, hold it, and I take my pliers and then I twist it off slowly. Sometimes you can do it that way. If not, if you don't have enough room to cut it, that's usually the best thing to do. At least get the screw up enough to where then you can get your saw up under there. Now the saw that I use is this Cobalt. I usually use the front half of it right here, and that's what I use to saw. It's got a little bit of flex to it, but it's sturdy. This is my plumbing saw. So we got that. We can see we've got some water and this camera on this phone. The phone is great, but the camera sucks. iPhone has a very good camera, but this camera is awful. But anyway, the wax seal is bad. You've got water all up around in here, all down in there. So we're going to dry that out, seal it up, and put on a new wax seal, new bolts, and reset our toilet. So I'll be right back. I'm going to get something and clean this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. Pulled the old wax seal off, and I stuck it in this box. And I pulled the bolts out. Got my new wax seal here, my bolts right here, and some people will use a spatula or whatever and just clean that off. My phone's lagging. Yeah, my phone's lagging. Okay, so what we're going to do next is put the new wax seal on. Now these flanges right here, sometimes you have like an area that goes from like here to here where you will put your, I'll use one, hold on. Let me pause 1 second and get these bolts out of here. Okay, now the way this is shaped, dang phone. Okay, the way this is shaped, like that, there, right here it is. This piece right here, it's usually the other way. What you do is you take this in like that, and then you slide it under like that, and then you twist it, lock it in. You're good. But this one, they put it on backwards. Wow. So what I'm gonna have to do is stick this up under here. Make sure when you want to push down on this to make sure there's something underneath, but don't let it go. This plastic piece is what holds it straight. If you have nothing underneath, what I do is I hold it up and I get like an old bolt, one of my old bolts, and I screw it on top to keep it really, really secure right there, so it's not wobbling. This and that. You can do that. Then we go to this side. We slide this up under here. Lock that in. If you push through, you can push through and you're about to lose your bolt under the house, then you need to really go under the house and put some wood there, something for support. But like I said, what I usually do is stick a bolt and put it over this and hold it, but we don't need one in this case. So what we're going to do now is take this plastic off of here, and we're going to set this wax seal. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, got my wax seal down. A lot of people flip the toilet over and put it on the toilet. I don't do that just because a lot of times it'll fall off or it will slide around once you try to get the hole and get it all in. It's a mess. So once you get your holes lined up and set your toilet, the flange from the toilet will fall right in here. You'll know it. It'll seat properly. It'll spread the wax out the way it should, and it'll hold a good seal. So I'm going to set this toilet back, and I will be right back. Okay, I've got my toilet set back. Got it over my my bolts right here. If you've been doing this a while, you can pretty much do this yourself. If not, get a helper to help line stuff up. Right here, I mean, this stuff only takes me like seconds to do. But what I do once I set my toilet back, I sit on the toilet facing this, have the lid down, and I straddle the toilet, put my arms up on the tank, and I wiggle the toilet around just to get it good and seated. Just get it good and seated, and then you can start putting everything back together. Get your bolts here, your nuts, and we want to put our first washer on. We'll put our second washer on. I'm going to pause the video and put these nuts on. I'll be right back. Okay, now this is where you have to be careful. You want to finger tighten your nuts on here. Let me get a little bit of water right here. You want to finger tighten both sides. Okay, now don't use pliers on these bolts. It's not made for pliers. It's made for an adjustable wrench. Put your adjustable wrench on there. What you're going to do, like just a couple turns. You're not going to crank it. You're just going to do it a little bit till you see the peak of the nut popping out. Okay, then you can go to this side. Do the same thing. Just get it a little tight, just a little tight. I mean, you're not going to try to kill it. You're not going to kill it. Do not kill it. Just barely you start feeling a little tension, you stop. Then you go to this side. Okay, you do it. Oh, you feel a little tension. You're going to start seeing the the screw coming through. Just go very slowly, very slowly. It's starting to push down on the wax and pull up. You can go to this side. You're going to do a couple turns. Nothing crazy. We're going to keep it nice and slow. Take our time. We're not in a hurry. I'm going to shake our tullet. Okay, it's not unstable. It's pretty good. Reason I say you go slow with these bolts, if you've never done a tullet before and you think, oh, I'm going to lock that bolt down, this tullet ain't going nowhere. Sorry, dude, you're going to bust the base of your tullet and you're going to be at the home improvement store getting a new one, or the plumbing shop getting a new one, and starting all over again. You don't have to kill it. I mean, just get it snug enough to hold your tullet. And then the way you test it is just sit on it, move around a little bit, which most people don't move around on a tullet, but most people just sit there, do their business, and they leave. But nobody likes a wobbly tullet. So you're going to sit on the tullet, and you're going to just wiggle around and see. That's nice and firm. Okay, we're good. But do a little bit on each side. I can't express that enough. A little bit on each side. You don't know how many people call me. They try to do it themselves, and they bust the base of their tullet. So the only remedy for that is to not do it, or do it very, very slowly. Okay, now we're going back to the supply line. We're going to find our supply line. I'm going to slowly then get it around there. There we go. All right. Got it on there. See it turning. And we stop. That's it. That's all we have to do. No over tightening, no wrenches, no pliers. That's all we do. Finger tight, hard and tight. That's it. That's all we need. That's all you want. Then you're going to turn your water back on. Okay. That was called water hammer. Water hammer. And they do make pieces you can put on the line for a water hammer to help it in the line. Okay, our toilet finally stopped running. You heard the water hammer when I turned the toilet back on. That's common in a lot of houses, especially at a toilet. I mean, if you want to tear out your walls and put one of those little suppressors or whatever, water hammer suppressors on there, go for it. But it's not every day you're turning on and off your water, so you should be good. Give her a flush. You want to look, make sure there's no water coming out all over the floor. Take your lid, put it back on, clean any mess you made up, stick your little cap back on, put your tools up, and you're done. That's it. I usually keep anything like this, just if I go to another house and something's missing or not right, I'll use it. So I'll stick this on the side of my bag in the bottom, and I'll know where it's at. So that's the end of this video. I mean, it's 21, almost 22-minute video, well, 22-minute video, and my pauses were less than a minute. 20 minutes, if you know what you're doing, you can have a wax seal replaced easy. I probably could have had this done 15 minutes without doing the video. So anyway, that's it. We're done here, and I'm heading home. Everybody have a great holiday. Well, have a great Merry Christmas, and enjoy it with your family, and be safe wherever you may go, your travels. And I'll probably just see you guys next year. I don't have much going on this week. I think one more job out in historical area out on Church Street in Greensboro. So I may do a video on a repair I'm doing there. But if not, see you guys next year. Be safe and take care.